I like how this documentary brings awareness to, at least to myself, a condition that is quite unknown. I like that it is explained through the life of our main character and how he and the people around him describe it, how him and they have had to learn to work with it. It's also great to see how he goes about his day in the Verite footage as an adult. It was kind of nice to see the home videos when he was young, but the Verite scenes of him doing seemingly mundane things as an adult and what that looks like for him. It's really great to get the interviews from with the people in his life, his family. You get a very well-rounded oil of a character when the people in their lives are included in the description of said character. I especially like the interviews with him and his mother. Together, it's really cool to sort of see them interact.
What I liked a lot about it was all of the home movie footage, which I always think is so special. And I wish I had some of my own. But there was just so much footage that was taken. And I feel like it really adds this personal touch to a documentary and gives you a really well rounded look and feel of his life. And when you have the subjects talking to the camera and then being able to kind of flip back to different scenes or birthdays or different events and stuff, it's just like makes for the perfect documentary because you have just so much content and so much to look at. Yeah, so I really liked this. I thought that it really helped to just normalize people with disabilities living in the world and being independent. And um, not everyone's disability is as debilitating for them as we perceive it to be. I think just being able to hear these stories of like regular people doing regular everyday things, um, being uh, being something that's just part of the everyday life. I also liked that the mother was like, we're not going to add extra pressure to make him be extraordinary. Like that's also the thing. Like it doesn't every story doesn't need to be inspirational and doesn't need to be um like a hero story. It can just be a regular person who's like living a regular life.
It's expertly told. There are family interviews and footage of home movies and photographs that the man's mother has taken and collected over the years of his life. The moments that bring a smile to your face are when he is young and he's finding a way to use pencils and write and play music as a little child. And eventually we see that he has a wife and a son, and it's so heartwarming. And what could be a really sad subject becomes something that just gives you joy. I thought the filmmaker really had the right heart for this kind of concept and subject matter.
I loved the B roll because in the B roll, even though he has a disability, it never feels like he has a disability. He was born different and he found a way around it. He worked around it. And again, quoting the end of the documentary, I feel like that's the biggest staple and an example of not letting a disability define you, because he's been able to live his life, and despite a few individuals who are not the most understanding, it sounds like he's living a very fulfilling and happy life.
It's like he says in the film, it really doesn't make a difference to him in how he functions, and we see him, and with his child in the grocery store and functioning in daily life, and he functions just like anybody else. So, there's nothing wrong with being different. is my takeaway from this. This is a really wonderfully made film. All the interviews were done very well. Everybody communicated so very well. It was wonderfully directed and wonderfully photographed and edited. Really loved the soundtrack too. Really had a lot of heart in this story, and it was nice to get to know these people and their culture and to learn about this man's life.
I thought this was a really well done documentary, just on the technical side. I liked a lot of the footage. I thought having the home videos from the past, the pictures, sort of showing him excelling and not being treated different by his family. I mean, his family showed him so much love, just from what I could see, that he was able to grow up. Maybe there was difficulties we didn't see, as he talked about some of, having difficulties, obviously. But I think as much as he could just grow up normally, I think he did, because he learned to use his hands as best as he could, his fingers. And I love that his nickname is Fairy Fingers, and to me that's a positive nickname. I love the interviews with him and his mom. And then seeing his own family and his own child, and how it didn't stop him from, having his own family. I just thought it was very inspirational.
How the way the film is told, the interviews and such, but obviously we have our main character here that was born with a condition, and he was born with no hands, and just the tip of each finger coming out from the arm, from the wrist. I think it was very powerful also to see how these young men, from a very early age, learned how to do the same things people do, even without hands. Just using other part of the wrist, of the arm, and basically in during his childhood, he basically understood and learned how to do exactly the same things that everybody do, and now he's enjoying his life as anyone else. So I think it was very powerful, deep message, very well told. I like the usage of B-rolls and footage from the past.